name is Danny L. If you're new, you know what to do. My returning subscribers, thank you so much for returning. So I just want to get right into this video. This video is basically just a little bit of history about my career path and how long it took me to get to where I am and the steps I took to get here, and also a little bit about my beginnings in the healthcare field. So if you don't know, I am in healthcare management and I do manage a laboratory. I didn't necessarily go to school for this particular position, but being that I was already in the field and in the department and I had the background, it just kind of made sense to pursue this position into the beginning stages of my field, of my career. I've always known ever since I was a little girl that I wanted to be in the healthcare field. I wanted to either be a nurse or I wanted to run the hospital. I never used to like blood and like guts and intestines and looking at the inside of humans, even though I like it now, but I didn't like it then and I didn't know why I wanted to be a nurse at that age. But I knew I liked being in a hospital for some odd reason, and I knew I like medical. I like hearing about diseases, the process of disease. I like to hear about how to cure diseases. I like to watch people get healed from having diseases. After my high school graduation, I really didn't have good grades. I wasn't a good student in high school. I did make a video about that before. I did tell you guys about that. I wasn't a good student in high school, and when I went to college, I still wasn't a good student. I went to college right out of high school, failed miserably, dropped out, went back, dropped out again, went back again, and here I am today. So back in the early 2000s, I decided to go to a medical assistant school. So a medical assistant is probably, you guys may be familiar with a medical assistant. They are the man or female that will come and get you at your doctor's office, perform your vital signs, get you ready to see the physician, have your, take your x-rays or whatever you did, your blood work, and have all that stuff ready for the doctor. I went to school for that for about 9 months and I graduated, and I did get a really good position in New York City at a hospital, a very prominent hospital, and I really liked that. But I wanted something more, and I wanted to go back to school to become an RN. Now, I was always in between wanting to be an RN and wanted to be a practice manager or a practice administrator. And right now, the Department of Labor and Statistics say that a practice manager and practice administrator are positions that are really going to be needed in the future. So if any of you out there want to get your feet in the door of healthcare and you want to manage a practice or manage a department, this would probably be the route for you to go. Or you could just go to college right out of high school, take the necessary business classes and necessary healthcare management courses to just propel you right into that. But I like to get my feet wet first and get a little bit of experience. So I digress. I became a medical assistant, and from that on, I knew that I wanted to be in the healthcare field. But again, I didn't know if I wanted to be a hands-on nurse on the floors, or I didn't know if I wanted to actually run the hospital. I was always in limbo, which is why it took me so long at 40 years old. Well, I'm 41 now. It took me so long to figure out what I wanted to do with myself and do with the rest of my life. And so I took the medical assistant course, graduated, got a good job, and then I moved out of state. So moving out of state really put a halt on where I should have been in my career path. But nevertheless, it put me in a good spot where I am today in April of 2019, and I'm grateful for all the steps that I took. So let's talk about some of the ways and some of the paths you can take to get to healthcare if this is what you want to do. So you have titles like a medical assistant, PCA, an RN, an LPN, a surgical tech, a what's the other one? A CNA. So a CNA is a kind of like a bedside nursing assistant. These people normally work in nursing homes and like rehab centers or places where the elderly or people are getting back from being in a serious car accident, or a just older folks who have issues, but they don't need to be hospitalized. So they'll be in like a nursing home. You may have had a family member who was in a nursing home, and if it wasn't the nurse that was taking care of the patient, it was a CNA. And they do a lot of bedside nursing. And I strongly suggest, if you want to be a nurse, try out CNA first. PCAs and CNAs are kind of like the same thing. A CNA is a certified nursing assistant, and a PCA is a patient care assistant, which basically they do the same things, but PCAs are normally, they normally work in hospitals. So if you have your med-surg floor or your pediatric ward or your cardiac unit, you always see a PCA. Those are the folks that are taking your vital signs when you're admitted. They are bringing you your towels and your whatever it is that you need as a patient. They're really the first people that you see on the floor of the hospital, and then you'll see the nurse. And I don't know if you are familiar with, they have the board up in your room, and it says your PCA is so and so, your RN is so and so, and you may even have a nursing assistant as well. And those are all the people that take care of you or your loved one while you're in the hospital. A surgical tech is just that, a surgical tech. I always wanted to be a surgical tech too. I wanted to do a lot of things. I wanted to be an anesthesiologist. I wanted to be a nurse anesthetist. I wanted to be a surgical tech. I wanted to do everything, and it's just so unfair that we only have one life to live. It's really unfair. A surgical tech is a person that works right along with the nurses in the OR and the physicians in the OR, the surgeons. They are the folks that are cleaning the instruments and bringing the instruments in. They may be right by the OR table, passing the surgeon the instruments that are going to be used for that procedure, or they are passing them to the nurse, and the nurse is then passing them to the physician, whatever. That course would probably be like an 18-month course. You could probably take that at your local community college. The medical assistant, you can take that at your local community college. And that's the thing, like these courses, these programs that you could take to like get your foot in the door in the healthcare field are really, they're really easy steps. Like you can go to your community college, or you could take them up at some kind of trade school in your area. The PCA, the medical assistant, the CNA, the surgical tech, all those courses are like easy to get into. And like I said, they are given at your local community college. So if that's something you want to do, I would strongly suggest you take those steps first, just to see if you even want to be in healthcare. Because I know a lot of people who were in medical assistant school with me, and they don't do medical. They're not in the healthcare field like at all. They do something totally different. So I would take that route in order to save money and not to waste your time. Obviously, you have your registered nurses and your LPNs. The LPN, again, you can take that course. That's probably like a 2-year course at your community college. I know some state universities have LPN courses, and then you have your RN, which obviously is you could do 2 years or 4 years. I was in nursing school actually in 2015, but I did drop out because I got a promotion at work, and it was just too much to do with clinicals, and nursing school is really extensive. And you need to have your full concentration on this course. Like the pharmacology classes, the pathology classes are no joke. You cannot. I mean, there are people who can have full-time jobs and are able to manage school and work. I wasn't one of them. So, especially with a program as important as nursing is. So, the point to this video is there are so many steps and ways and courses and paths that you can take no matter what age you are, if you are trying to get into the health field. I've been in the health field for about, my daughter's 18, so like 19 years. Again, I was a medical assistant, then I went into phlebotomy, and the phlebotomy, which, oh, I forgot about the phlebotomy. So, sorry. So, a phlebotomist, a phlebotomist is a person that takes your blood when you go to the clinic or you go to a hospital. And sometimes even on the floors they have phlebotomists that will come around to your bedside and take your blood for the necessary tests that you need. I have been a phlebotomist for the past, as long as I've been living here in Pennsylvania, 8 years. And I'm going into my 9th year. I was a phlebotomist for 6 years. Then I got promoted to a supervisor, and now I am a manager. So taking the necessary steps that I took to get here, I'm not mad at that at all, because God blessed me to show my skills and the higher ups noticed the hard work that I was doing and decided to give little old Rashida a chance, and here I am. So guys, that's the end of my video. If you guys have any questions about healthcare or any kind of courses you want to take and you want to find out information, I mean, you can always Google it and look online, but you can email me at the email in my description box, which is cartelqueen77@yahoo.com. You can email me, you can send me questions there, you can comment down below in the comment section and tell me about your healthcare path, if you are in healthcare, and how did you get to where you are today. I love to hear stories about people's beginnings and where they are now. So guys, that's my video, and thank you so much for watching. I hope that this was informative for you, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.